Here we go.
Well, hello there. How is everyone? I hope you're all well. You amazing, amazing, beautiful, wonderful people. It is Saturday. Got that right, didn't I? That's it. I'm a legend. I know what day it is. Sometimes. Anyway, we're talking about 180s. Because I got a comment earlier, and it was with respect of Steve Goncalves. Look, this ain't about having a pop at Steve. It's about being curious. It's about being curious of the position of a man who claimed that he was an alpha. He claimed that there was business things, there was things that was going on that was meaning that the Idaho 4 case wasn't being handled in a manner with which it should be handled. He alluded to that fact. He alluded to other facts as well, made statements such as they didn't have to go upstairs. And the way that he has made this almost like Kaylee, Maddie, they're his. He's claimed them. One's his daughter. Maddie's not, but he has claimed her as if she is an extension of his own child. But in doing so, he has fractured the situation. And he's almost made it like maybe they were collateral for something that was to do with Xana and Ethan. Does it make sense? I've always thought that. But anyway, I'm talking about 180s because the alpha, he had stated that there was a point where he wasn't seemingly sure who it was all about. He wasn't sure. And he was open to the case moving forward as it should. And if it's proven that this is the person, and you can shoot me down in flames. If you disagree, then let me know in the comments down below. Equally, if you agree, let me know in the comments down below. And if you're not subscribed and hit the like button. See, I'm on form today. The mods will be happy. But like I say, he seemed to be in a position where it was almost like Christy was sure. Which you can understand a mum. She's lost her child. And she's fucking raging. She's raging mad. And maybe a lot of that anger, frustration, and wanting the accused to die. Literally saying that she wanted him to die. She didn't want him to be breathing anymore. But you can partly understand it. But what made it real in the early days is that you had this dynamic that was suggesting that Steve wasn't 100% on board with what Christy was thinking. He seemed to be the more open-minded one. He was asking the questions that we were asking. He absolutely was, in my opinion. He had the same thoughts and feelings surrounding perhaps that the University of Idaho and their influence in this situation was affecting the way the entire situation was being handled and dealt with. Which I believe led him at one point to saying, look, don't make me be the alpha. Don't make me say the things that I want to say. He came out and said things that we would hear would be gross, which to this day we still question what he means. But something happened. And he changed his mind. And this has now turned into an utter, outright raging of war against the accused. Which leads you to two questions. Question one, what made him change his mind? Did he change his mind because he had to? It was a point where it would be damaging to his relationship with his partner. So he had to get on board and show an utter coming together with Christy and her way of thinking. We don't know what happens behind closed doors, and you know, I've seen a few shows. I watch Married at First Sight, and I listen to some of the parents when they have like in-laws week, whatever it is. And they say sometimes you just have to, even if your partner is wrong and you believe that they are wrong, you know, the way that relationships last and the ones that really last is you support them no matter what. Even if you disagree, you hold it inside and you show absolute 100% support. So, question one, is that what we're seeing? Are we just witnessing someone who is willing to throw caution to the wind and just willing to go balls deep into that come out really wrong. Just agreeing with Christy that he was just going to support her no matter what. Show solidarity. She believes he did it. I believe he did it. We as a family, as a coming together, we believe he did it, and he deserves to die. And I'm going to just move forward in that mindset. Or is that not what we're saying? In fact, there's 3 spurs here, because it could be that he has decided that there's a potential here that there is something underlying that could be connected to him even. Does he fear this? Does he worry this? We know that there are things around Steve Goncalves, not so much him directly, but on the peripheral of his life. There has been drama, there has been death. And Steve Goncalves himself made something that spiked my curiosity when he said that he wasn't going to be the victim. Recently, he said after this, he wasn't going to be the victim. I thought to myself, what did you mean by that? What did you mean by it? And like I say, this obsession with trying to push Bryan Kohberger as the guilty party and going as far as to openly try and force other people to come to your way of thinking, because there is supporting your partner, but then there's going above and beyond to overstep the mark. Because you can support and be supportive and say, yes, I support you, but you don't then have to go the extra mile and lie and bend the truth and go onto these interviews and interject into an already circus of a case things that are going to further fuel the fires that don't need to be fueled. So I wonder whether there is something what means that Steve Goncalves must have Bryan Kohberger be the perpetrator. He must be the person who did it, because if there is an alternative, then perhaps this victim that Steve talks about and him being the victim, does that mean that if this was a repercussion of something, would he then be the victim because he was being punished? This was a direct punishment to Steve. And this is just my curiosity, because the only other alternative is potentially the most dangerous one. And that is that there is indeed a leak in this case. And they are indeed leaking information regarding this case to Steve Goncalves. And I find it unusual that the fact that Steve Goncalves has almost alluded to the fact that he is being given information that he shouldn't have, that this hasn't been brought into the courtroom and questioned by Bryan Kohberger's defense team, because I absolutely 100% would be. I 100% would be, because I feel now that there is enough things being said, sadly, by this family that would lead me to believe that something is going on, potentially that someone is giving him information that shouldn't be giving him information. And I could perhaps leverage that to my advantage. But what is it? What makes the alpha, the guy who at one point seemingly was fully in control and was open just like all of us, what truly made that man do the 180 that he did? And not only do a 180, but seemingly descends into an unhealthy obsession with having to make Bryan Kohberger the victim. No, not the victim. Freudian slip. The perpetrator. Let me know down below what you think, and I'll catch you all live tomorrow.